Good morning and welcome to AES's Manheim Facility Orientation. The purpose of this training will be to familiarize you with the layout of the facility, the potential hazards associated, as well as the key contacts within the facility. For today's agenda, we will be covering the site contacts, PPE requirements, the do's and don'ts within the facility layout, and upon completion of this orientation, there will be an attendance sheet which will be passed around. To start things off, you will see some general information about the facility. Please understand that there are a limited number of staff and we will all need to work together to ensure the safe and successful completion of this project. The two main points of contact will be our facilities manager, Paul Bias, and our EHS coordinator, Matthew Frank. You can see their numbers listed. In the event of an emergency, always remember to dial 911 and provide them with the proper address. I highly suggest that you write it down and keep it somewhere that's easily accessible at all times. Moving on to OSHA, it is important to understand that their standards are just the bare minimum. AES will always look to exceed their standards for our job sites whenever possible. When at this location, there will be a mandatory minimum level of PPE which will be required at all times. This will include a proper hard hat, safety glasses, protective gloves when handling material, safety-toed boots, and a reflective or high visibility vest. Also note that certain tasks may require additional PPE, and also understand that AES reserves the right to select and approve any and all PPE to be used on the job site. On the job site, there will be a competent person. The assigned competent person will work with the management team to identify any and all existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings or working conditions which are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and also has the responsibility to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. For the facility conduct, we ask that you abide by these basic rules. No horseplay, no cell phones unless work-related, no drugs or alcohol, never working under the influence of drugs or alcohol, no smoking or vaping, no chewing tobacco, no weapons, no vandalism, no sexual harassment, respect all others on the site, and no touching of materials or equipment not belonging to you or your company. Next, we will be getting into fall protection. It is important that when there is a fall hazard that exists in the workplace, you must have proper fall protection in place. Examples of this include all leading edges and scissor lifts, which we will cover in the next slide. In regards to scissor lifts, all OSHA standards which apply to them will be enforced and followed accordingly. AES will require and enforce that all persons in a scissor lift will maintain 100% tie-off at all times. Operators must be properly trained and have valid equipment operator cards. For forklifts and telehandlers, all OSHA standards which apply to them will be enforced and followed accordingly. Flaggers and spotters will be required whenever moving material or equipment. Operators must also be properly trained and have valid equipment operator cards. Here you will see the facility layout. Note the two rooms which are shown with the green circles. These are the rooms in which work will be conducted and permitted. The room that is marked with the red no circle denotes that entry into this space will be restricted. Note that these signs will be posted on entryways into any restricted spaces in the facility. In the event that you need to enter a restricted space, please contact either Paul Bias or Matthew Frank as shown. Here you will see the exits as marked by green circles, which will be located within the spaces that you will be working in. It is important that you orient and familiarize yourself with your surroundings in order to find the nearest exits. In the event of an emergency, understand that your main exit may be blocked and you may need to use a different exit. Please also note the red circles which show entryways into restricted spaces. In the event of a building evacuation, the regroup point will be the parking lot in the front of the building. After an evacuation has occurred, a head count will be taken and entry back into the building will not be permitted until the all clear has been given. In closing, it is important to remember that keeping everyone safe will be a group effort. Should you have any questions post-orientation, please contact the on-site management team. An attendance sheet will be going around which signifies that you have attended and completed the orientation, and that you will adhere to all AES standards. Lastly, please understand that this location will be going through many changes, and that additional orientations may be required regardless of prior attendance.